Welcome. Interesting little side note here. I'm taking a sidestep from the DBZ stuff for just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just tonight's probably going to be one of the last nights that I skip. I'm going to start recording again tomorrow night. Probably won't get to upload them until probably Friday. Friday night, Friday, something like that. But the good part is, well, anyway, to me it's a good thing. A lot of people, I don't know what you think about the new YouTube homepage. For me, it's a godsend because I have internet that only works during part of the day. So when I have to upload multiple videos, I either have to wait and space them out like 24 hours at a time just to make sure it gets enough views. Because, you know, when you upload a video and then you upload another one, the most recent one takes over the spot of the one you just uploaded, so people don't even know it's there. I've had that. I'll upload a 2-part rant. People only watch part 2. You know, they won't watch part 1. But now with this, you know, you can actually see like the last 4 videos that whoever you're sub to uploaded. So to me, it's a godsend, especially since, you know, I upload videos and the videos that I might have missed throughout the day. Especially since some of the people I'm sub to do upload like more than 1 video a day. Sometimes they can go like a couple days without uploading, then other days, you know, it's just like, you know, like 3 videos in 1 day. So, yeah, but anyways. I want to talk to you guys about a little something. And it's frankly Kai haters. Now, I know this is going to basically devolve into an argument about opinion, and I'm not going to begrudge anyone's opinion. If you like it, you like it. If you like the old one better, you like the old one better. I don't care. Frankly, I think that if you look at it objectively, you can't really come to that conclusion. But there are people who are going to like it better for nostalgia or for, you know, the fact, you know, I grew up with it, this or that, whatever. But, see, looking at it from an objective standpoint, I mean, the acting is better. I'm sorry, it is. The script is better. Music, debatable, but I actually like it better. I personally like it better. I know other people who don't, but frankly, I like it a lot better than the old bombastic orchestra. It was just a little too, you know, didn't quite have the right feel. Bruce Faulkner's music was okay, but it was maybe a little too synthesized sounding. I mean, it's all synthesized, so, you know, that's a given, but it's just, I don't know. Just sounded like they could have maybe lowered the pitch just a hair and it would have sounded a little bit better, and frankly, they used it to death. It's like you never had a moment where there wasn't music going on in that series, I swear to God. Japanese were much better with the music cues, that's for sure. Which is why I like the Kai music. It's kind of a fusion. It's got kind of a rock sound and it's got kind of an orchestral sound. You know, I like it. I do. I really do. I think it fits. But, you know, again, this is my opinion. But when it does come to the acting, that's undeniable. It is better. When it comes to the portrayal of Frieza, this is what I don't get. People hate Chris Ayres doing Frieza, and it's like, why'd they change it? Why'd they change it? Well, I'm going to tell you why. First and foremost, they did try to keep Linda Young. I uploaded this interview on the protest channel a while back. Apparently, half of y'all didn't see it. That's fine. Not all of you are subbed over there, so I guess I should explain it. Linda Young was originally going to be kept on as Frieza. That's why they had her doing the laugh in the first episode. They wanted to keep her. But the problem is, when they got the script, see, the script is what killed her. She couldn't do the voice anymore. It was because the lines, they were no longer just simple little menacing, frankly kind of brutish, yes, I used a fancy word, sorry, brutish one-liners, you know, like basically talking how, you know, he's always going to grind someone into dust, he'll, you know, do something horrible to them, blah, blah, blah. Frankly, some of them were some pretty stupid, corny jokes in my opinion, but, you know, whatever. It was also supposed to be kind of, you know, done for kids. And to be fair, I know people are going to say Ocean did it so much. No, they did the same thing, guys. They had almost the same script. It was being dumbed down for TV because they were trying to market it as a kid's show. Therein lies your problem. It's not, as we over here define it, a kid's show. It'd be like, I mean, you know, I mean, it's like taking shows like shows that they haven't bothered to water down, like Bleach or whatnot, and trying to water that down into a kids show. It's just not meant for kids. It never was, at least not by our standards. Now, see, over there they have a different way of measuring the demographic. The kid demographic does go all the way to like 16 years old, or sometimes which is why it's actually for a much wider range of viewers there. But over here, see, we have the kid demographic, then we have the preteen demographic, then we have the teen demographic. We split it more, so it's harder to measure by our standards. But but it's like Linda Young's Frieza, her old Frieza. I'm sorry, I never. This is something I just have to say it. I never understood why people followed him. I never did. Because to me, he just did not seem intelligent. He seemed like he was all muscle. He didn't seem like he was capable of running an empire. It just seemed like he had other people who did it for him because they were too scared to fight back. It's like it's not someone that they could have genuine respect for. Which is why I didn't understand why Captain Ginyu didn't just body swap. It's not until I saw this incarnation of him. I tried to watch him in the Japanese, I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry, I didn't really like the old Japanese dub too much because it was in mono, and it just kind of hurt my ears because of that. I've got somewhat sensitive ears. And when you turn it up past a certain point, mono can sometimes hurt my ears. But anyways, the point is, it's just, I never saw Frieza this way. I read the manga, and the manga Frieza, that's when I started understanding why. He was actually capable, effective, he was intelligent. He wasn't just all muscle. He was proper. He acted like someone, yeah, sure, a real ass, which he is, evil, but he acted like someone who you could believe is the head of an empire, And that performance really comes through with Chris Ayres, and that's also the writing. I do think Chris Ayres does an awesome delivery. But even so, it's mostly the writing. I'm not going to lie. Chris Ayres is talented, but what really gives this Frieza a new life is the writing. That being said, they were trying to keep Linda. But it was the delivery, the speed at which she had to speak now, and everything. It was literally hurting her to do this part. Which is why they had to replace her. They tried to keep her. They tried to keep everybody, pretty much. From the only one who actually gave up roles, who was going into this saying, I'm not going to do all the roles I used to do, was Chris Sabat, and that's because he had a bigger cast now, he had a bigger budget now, he could afford to hire more actors, so he wanted to spread some of his old roles around with people who he thought actually fit them better. And I think he made some good choices. Other people might not agree. I really don't care. That's not the point here. The point is, that they were trying to keep the old actors. Now, some of them couldn't come back because they were busy doing other things. Some of them didn't want to come back. Sean Schemmel himself almost didn't come back to do Goku. In fact, he almost stopped doing Goku altogether. I mean, completely. Even in the games, everything. In his words, he was getting really sick of it. It was basically just coming in to redo the same thing over and over. It was something that he was always constantly being reminded wasn't really accurate because of this and that. It was just, it was getting tiresome. And Chris calls him up, says, come on, do Goku again. He's debating whether or not to do it. Chris Sabat shows him the script. And in his words, he fell in love with the character all over again. He actually got excited to do the role. He went in and recorded it. It's actually reinvigorated the guy. These guys love this freaking series. They do. It's, and I mean, I'm talking about, there are guys, Sonny Strait, for example, the guy who does Krillin and Bardock, for those of you who don't know. The guy actually still freaking reads the manga. These guys are actual fans of this series. It's not a case of, oh yeah, sure, I did it on TV. Yeah, sure, I got some respect for it because it's something that I was a part of. No, these guys are genuine fans of the original work. And because of that, because they're so enthusiastically signing off on this is when they were doing that before, that's why I knew that this was going to be turn out to be good, and it did. It came out a lot closer to the manga. A lot of the filler's gone. Now I know a lot of people say, "Well, I like some of the filler." Guess what? I did too. And I don't know why a lot of people don't seem to like this. I liked the Garlic Jr. saga. I thought it was really cool. It was nice to see them focus on Krillin, Piccolo, and Gohan again. Yeah, it was nice to see them actually have to do something without having to rely on Goku. Which I know that this is something that actually leads up to something later, but at the time it was nice, you know. And frankly, I think it got to explore. It didn't really develop the characters at all, because it's filler. They didn't set out to. They did, however, expose the depth that that those three characters already had, and I thought that was awesome. I did. I was kind of a fanboy over it. I'll admit. I just thought that was awesome. Wasn't a big fan of the whole Marin thing. I wasn't a big fan of Garlic Jr. per se, just because he was a movie villain, and then but it worked for this saga. It worked. So on and so forth. But and then there's other stuff like people like the episode where they go do the driving test, and yeah, sure, that doesn't it's not exactly canon breaking, whatever, but it does kind of disrupt the flow. I mean, there's something serious about to happen. It kind of breaks the suspense of it. You know what I mean? Again, this is my opinion, but yeah, seriously, the filler, when you go back and watch it, so many people say that it developed characters. No, it really didn't. It developed them in a way, but it almost developed them independently from the actual work. They started acting like they didn't originally act. Johan all of a sudden isn't interested in doing his schoolwork anymore. In fact, he's always trying to sneak off. Stuff like that. It's like, no, Gohan loved to study. He did, on his own. And so to see them take that stuff out, I know so many people have, memories attached to this and whatnot. And yeah, sure, maybe they are okay on their own, but they're not good for the character, and they're not good for the story itself, because then they wind up having to scramble to cover their butts later to fix some of what they stuck in that filler. Okay, now they did manage to cover it, barely, but, the filler is one of the biggest problems with Dragon Ball Z. It's one of the main things that people who were always detracted from the series complained about. It's even one thing that a lot of us fans used to complain about. But what's hilarious is that once they take it out, then all of a sudden I see so many people in the fan base start freaking out. They fixed every single thing you were complaining about, and now you're freaking out about it. Why? I mean, really, why? This is like a freaking dream come true for a fan. It is. It's almost exactly like the manga now. And you guys are going to sit there freaking out talking about how they ruined it? Really? So Akira Toriyama, who's involved with this, ruined his own story by making it like the story he originally wrote? Do you listen to what you're saying? Really? This is Dragon Ball Z. I'm sorry if you think it's not the Dragon Ball Z you're used to, but this is Dragon Ball Z as it was written. It's, to me, nothing short of amazing. Now, I can understand people still liking the old series. I can understand people thinking they did a good job in the old series. I do too, considering the fact that they had a lot of them were actually people just working in the staff who had zero voice acting experience. Taking that into account, they did an amazing job back then too. The problem is, they knew they could do better. Other people knew they could do better. And comparing it to other dubs that were out there, it wasn't as high quality. So, what they do, they redubbed it. And they did an amazing job this time too. I'm really not seeing half the reasons anyone has to hate on this.